When Pei Ran realizes his high school sweetheart boyfriend, Lou Qingshan, has cheated on him, he feels almost relieved. Prepared to just be single, he doesn't realize that his ex's roommate, Yang Jun, has been pining for him all of this time. As the two start gaming together, they start developing a friendship and slowly a little something more. Welcome back to The Wonder of Anime. I'm Lisa, and this is another installment of Danmei Fridays, where I sit and tell you about a Danmei that I have read. And this week, I am really happy to talk to you guys about probably one of my new favorite books in a very long time. That is Limerence by Zhang Zi Bei. It's also known as I've Liked Your Boyfriend for a really long time. If you watched my unwrapping video, you know that I ordered this from Gigi Books, and I'm obsessed with how beautiful the cover is. Unfortunately, I took off the jacket. It's somewhere. I can't read with like jackets on, but it's beautiful. But the book is beautiful without it. And something that I really liked is that there's like a lot of little decorative elements inside of the book. And because it's like gaming, it kind of looks like little gaming decorative details. So, yeah, like this is the chapter one. But it's just very cute. Perfectly fitted to a book that inside the story is super cute. And this had me hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. I became obsessed with this. Now, I do have an obsessive personality, but I was obsessed. I believe I read this in 2 days, which doesn't sound like much, but you guys know I am a full-time mom, full-time employee. Like, I have a busy life, and I stayed up late reading it, which I never really do. So just know that I was obsessed with this book. But let me tell you guys about it. And if you have been watching Danmei Friday videos, you may know spoilers are going to be ahead. So if you haven't read this yet, but you want to know more, this video has spoilers. So either stop and read it and come back, or continue at your own risk. The one thing that's really important in this story, and it's something that this author is kind of known for, is like this esport gaming setting. And I'm a video game girly. You guys know I've done live streams playing video games. I don't play the games like mentioned in this book. And the games are described a lot and in detail. I don't know what the game is called in the story, if it's like real or, it's like a knockoff name. But from the descriptions, kind of like a Call of Duty, Fortnite, League of Legends, Apex type game. And I just thought it's really well described for someone who doesn't play those type of games. I could easily tell what it was. And in reading it, you can tell that the author is a gamer themselves or has knowledge or is around people that game, because it comes off really authentically, and it just makes for a really cute backdrop and setting on how these characters get to know each other. When I read a book, I will mark it on a book reading app, like I'm reading this, my progress, keep track of the books that I'm reading. And as I was doing that, I saw a lot of reviews that did not like Pei Ran as the main character. And a few reviews said that he was boring or plain, but that's actually what I really liked about him. I think sometimes you need a sensible MC. You need someone who's very level-headed, very grounded, and some people are just chill, and I think that's fine. Like, he was dealing with some conflicting emotions that we'll get into in my next point, but he was just very calculated and very mature, and I think that kind of had to do with things that he went through in the past. So if he was like a little boring or plain or, not as expressive or dramatic maybe as another main character, to me, I saw that like a plus, because I just thought it was a really cool character, and I thought he was fine. I did not dislike him. I actually loved him. I think he's a little sweetie pie. The relationship with Pei Ran and his ex, Lou Qingshan, was a really good dynamic, because it deals with a lot of things that you often don't see covered in like rom-com fictions. I think people go through this normally in everyday life, but it's not something that you see often. Pei Ran and Lou Qingshan had met in high school, And although Pei Ran kind of knew that he was gay, it came out in school that he was gay and he was being bullied. Lou Qingshan had at to that point not been gay, had not questioned his sexuality, but he saw Pei Ran and was interested in him and was like, I'm just going to pursue him 100% full stop. So Lou Qingshan had been really pursuing Pei Ran for a while. And then there was like a bullying incident that Lou Qingshan got into and defended Pei Ran. And Pei Ran at that point kind of felt obligated to date him because Lou Qingshan got in this fight and it ended up kind of like being a whole big thing. He wasn't unhappy with Lou Qingshan, but he also kind of just isn't excited. In the beginning of the story, they're still together, and it's obvious that he cares about Lou, but he's not really over the top or feeling kind of like a lot of emotion towards him. And I see how in this like narrative, this is kind of like a situation when you have been with somebody for a long time and you slowly start not feeling the romantic feelings and you care a lot about them. The relationship has been going on for a long time, so you are appreciative and grateful for kind of like the investments that have been made in the relationship, but you're not that emotionally excited about it. And I think as a result of that, he, at the point that Lou Qingshan cheats on him, he's checked out. And he is kind of upset at the betrayal, but he's not that upset in comparison to, you know, somebody like if you're in college and your boyfriend you've been with since high school cheats on you, like you think somebody would be more upset. And granted, he is upset. He kind of had an inkling that something was going on. And then when the cheating has been confirmed, he kind of just really calculated like, okay, this hurts, but I'm moving on. And I feel like it was his opportunity to break with Lou Qingshan, which I think he did ultimately want to do. But he kind of just felt guilty because of like the fight that happened in high school, and he didn't really know how to go about it. And I feel like the cheating incident created this window for him to be single, which I think it's what he really wanted. The male lead, the actual love interest in the story, is Zhun, who is one of my favorite leads in a while. I thought that he was adorable in how he was pining for Pei Ran. It had me blushing and kicking my feet. And he's just so patient with Pei Ran, understanding everything that he had just been through with his ex and the cheating. But also, time goes on and they're getting closer, taking initiative and making a move on Pei Ran. He confesses his feelings and he's like, hey, you don't have to make a decision now. I'm just letting you know that I like you. And you don't have to be with me yet. You don't have to tell me that you like me back. But just know that I'm going to be actively pursuing you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Yes. I thought he was just so patient. He was just so kind. The only thing that I didn't like about him, and it is appropriate given still in college, they're not fully adults. The frontal cortex isn't fully developed, is that he would just shut down in a misunderstanding with Pei Ran. Like if he thought Pei Ran was gonna get back with Lou Qingshan and give him a chance, he just shut down. And I feel like he could have handled that better. I think he needed to like grow up a little bit in that sense, but that did narratively give them Pei Ran an opportunity to make a move and express himself. But I feel like the couple, because he did it more than once, and I was like, all right, sir, like you got one more chance. You can't be shutting down like this. Be assertive. Be affirmative in your love. But other than that, I thought he was really cool. I feel like he was such a good contrast to the ex in a way that wasn't too like, your ex is a piece of shit, I'm amazing. But it was like, nah, like I'm a cool guy. And I thought that was just chef's kiss. Obviously, in the world, it would be a little bit problematic to get with your ex's roommate. Dynamic. Realistically, you may get some side eyes from Fred and families if enough time has not gone by. But I love it. I love it in fiction. I may be a little bit messy, but I just think it's so cool. Like, I thought it was done really well, especially because before Lou Qingshan had actually cheated on Pei Ran, he was considering the third party, which I will get into in a second. And I feel like that just gave Yang Jin more ammo, more like, all right, like fumble fumble this so I can swoop in and get your man. And I thought that was really cool. I love it in fiction. I just thought it was such a cool dynamic, which is another reason why I really like this story. The only thing, I wouldn't say that I didn't like, because I love this story, but I feel like if there is one other complaint that I had, is I was not a full fan of Lou Qingshan's downfall. So as I said, he cheated on Pei Ran, right? But it kind of was like this little snowball of a situation where he has this friend, Sun Yan, and he introduces him and, they're hanging out. And Pei Ran feels like there's something there. And I think initially Lou Qingshan is not looking at Sun Yan in that way, but he is liking the attention and realizing that Sun Yan is throwing himself at him. And he really likes kind of that he's in this position where he has a long-term boyfriend that he's obsessed with. But hey, someone else has eyes on me, like I got it. And it's like, is that really something that I should consider? And I think that he messed up, first of all, because I feel like if you are with somebody in a relationship, you do not let yourself get into a position where someone else feels like it is an invitation to get into a relationship. I feel like he did lead Sun Yan in a way, like they were hanging out a lot. They're kind of having some intimate moments, like not sexually, but like, hugs and things lingering on for a little bit too long. That I feel like if you're in a relationship, you set certain boundaries that it don't even get to that level. So he jeopardized his whole relationship letting that slip up. And I think that obviously that has to happen for the story to happen. And I think like that was a really good way for it to happen, because I also think in situations like that, when somebody cheats on you with somebody that they know or that he tries to paint it off. It's his birthday party. They're all out drinking and he's like getting drunk. And then him and Sun Yan like go in the hallway or something away from everyone else. And Sun Yan kisses him and Pei Ran happens to be like in the aisle somewhere and sees it. And we know as a reader that doesn't just happen. Yes, people are drunk, but you can be drunk around people and not make out with them. So that there had been more there leading up to get to the point where both of you guys are making this move drunk. There's sober intentions behind that no matter what. So that fumble obviously has to happen for him and Pei Ran to break up. And then the real couple gets together. But what I thought that, like, I think in the beginning, Lou Qingshan is very, like, in denial that the breakup's happening. He thinks he can win Pei Ran back. He's like, oh, I'll block him. Like, I'm not going to hang out with Sun Yan. Like, that was a mistake. Me and you are still together. We're not breaking up. And I thought that was, like, okay. I'm like, yes, like, you just lost your high school boyfriend. Like, you are going to get desperate and be like, no, we're not breaking up. We're still together. Like, I just made this mistake. I don't think I should lose you over this mistake. But as time goes on, I don't like that Lou Qingshan kind of goes on this really bad spiral. And ultimately, like, towards the end, I feel like when should be out of the picture, it escalates him and Jan Yu and get into that fight. Like, I thought at that point, like, it was doing way too much. And I feel like by then, Lou Qingshan had to have come to a moment and accept that he lost Pei Ran forever and that Pei Ran had moved on. And that was kind of just the part that I feel like he went a little too far. He was doing a lot throughout the story, but I wish there had come a point where he maturely was like, you know what, let me step back. I did lose Pei Ran. That's all me. I gotta let it go. And I feel like that didn't happen. Which in the narrative is like, yes, more reason for me to root on the actual main lead. That was my only thing where I felt there had to have come a point where he stepped away. And I wished he would have got the fact that they were over and done with before it led to violence. That was like my one thing. I was like, I don't like that it led to violence, but I will let it go because I love the story. In conclusion, I love the story. I'm always, always, always going to be a sucker for a light and fluffy romance, and Limerence really just delivers that. It's such a fun read. The romance moves a little slow, but obviously this is a 1-volume story, so it is going to get there eventually. And in the in-between, it's just filled with a lot of really tender and intimate moments that just make my heart race. And I finished this book a couple weeks ago, but I keep it by my bed, and I like flip through to some of my favorite parts because they're just really well done, and it's just so cute. I wish there was more. There are some like extra chapters, I think, but I need more. I need like a volume 2 of them a little bit down the line. But Limerence is great. I cannot recommend it enough, and it was so cute. It was so cute. So thank you guys so much for watching another installment of Danmei Fridays. As always, I'd love to know your thoughts if you read Limerence, if you have any other recommendations. There's another story by the same author that is being published in English. I just put my pre-orders in yesterday for volume 1 and 2. It's called How to Fail at Online Dating. I'm excited. I'm excited. It might be a couple months before I get those, but I just need more of these type of stories. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.